Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Cancer is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It's totally free. It doesn't cost you anything at all. All right. If there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Cancer, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And 10 of Cups, absolute fulfillment, perfect happiness, dream come true. Right? Miracles are happening here. That's a very good card. Let's put that into some context. Let's see what's going on with that 10 of Cups. Oh, now we've got the Death card. Interesting. See, now this is not, don't get scared, right? The Death card should really be called the Rebirth card. It really should be called the transformation card. It doesn't have so much to do with death as it does with letting things go, of kind of emerging into our true self. I think that this is really, I kind of think you're leveling up here with something, right? We're transforming. We're going out of an old phase, and we're headed toward this 10 of Cups. And that 10 of Cups is glorious. Oh, look, we have now more major arcana. I see the way forward might be a little bit confusing for you. There is a lot of trust in the universe that needs to happen. Look at that. Now we got the Ace of Cups. Wow. I wonder, this is kind of like, this is the bottom of the mountain here, and this is the top of the mountain, getting all the way to the summit, right? So maybe what we're doing is we've realized what our life's path is. We've realized what this mountain of love and beauty and joy and satisfaction and pleasure and bliss and all of this stuff is. We know what the mountain is now. Because I think we've gone through this dark night. And it's almost more glorious to just wake up one day, one morning or something, and see the mountain before you, so you know, like, this is what I'm meant to do. Well, now begins the work of climbing, right? All the way to that ace. So this is the glorious beginning. Yeah. Well, let's select the mystery card. Bonus card, confirmation card. This is one random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. We're just going to set it down right over here. We'll put Alien Simon Mork Ripley right there on top. Now, we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. Okay? If at any point during the reading you feel like you know what that card is, I want you to put your prediction down in the comments. All right? Let's do it together. Let's make it a group exercise in intuition. All right. Let's take a look here now. We've got major, 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 major. A lot of major arcana energy. And a lot of this major arcana energy is about kind of like, well, we got passageways. We've got transformation, we've got letting go, we've got shedding skin, we've got trust and acceptance, right? But we also have wisdom. We also have this higher mind that's directing us. So it's not like we're just kind of blind, groping around in the darkness here. We're being led by wisdom. We're being led by the messenger of the gods, right? Mercury. Being led by the Spirit, right? As it manifests to us in our own lives, in our own minds, in our own hearts. Yeah. We have a little bit of fire energy. And this is, well, there could be a fire sign person in your life that's significant to you. We definitely have our water energy, right? We have a little bit of air, these two kind of air energies here. And this is really... this is the faith, the hope, the trust that we need to hold on to get through periods of doubt, get through periods of confusion, get through periods of being kind of on the fence about something, vacillating. Right now, I think it's very important for you to realize how indecisive you really are in life. How indecisive are you? We don't see any earth energy here, which we need. Maybe the mystery card, we can ground some of this energy. But first, let's talk about this one, the Prince of Swords, down beneath the surface. The key focus of your work right now is to gain control over the vacillations of your own being. How indecisive really are you in life? Yeah. When it comes to things that you even just indulgences, things you like, things you enjoy, right? Do you have a hard time kind of making up your mind, right? It's like, my analogy for the 10 of Cups, right? You're at the buffet. And, sometimes the 10 of Cups could say, we're at the buffet and we've eaten too much of everything. We're stuffed. We just can't wait to get out of here, right? That's when it becomes too much of a good thing. But how often are you at the buffet and you're just like, well, I like all of this stuff. I don't know which one to try first. I don't know how much of this one I should have, because then what if I don't have enough room for that dish over there? There's a lot of this back and forth. Well, I don't know. Should I start with dessert? There's an indecisiveness in you that needs to be brought to awareness, that needs to be acknowledged, right? In the moment when you're being given any kind of choice, it's even like I use the analogy of the cereal aisle in the supermarket. There's like 1,000 different kinds of cereal. How can anyone choose, right? Do you choose what's healthiest? Do you choose what's cheapest? Do you choose what tastes the best? Do you choose what is closest to your hand so you can just grab it and get out? How do you make that choice? How do you choose things in life? Right? What is your criteria? What is your method for making decisions? Yeah. A lot of mental activity goes into these things. Well, contrasting that is this Mercury energy here, the Magus, the magician. The magician is kind of that stream of consciousness, spur of the moment. It's almost the thinking that doesn't think, right? It's the decision that doesn't need to decide. It's just kind of, again, it's like that stream of consciousness where it's just like the first thing that flows out of you is the thing that's closest to spirit, closest to spontaneity, right? The spontaneous response. And this really is a big contrast with this, right? With the Prince. The Prince of Swords looks at everything as this huge task. Let's get the whiteboard out. Let's get the pins and the yarn and all this stuff. Let's make our diagrams. Let's figure out what cereal do I want today. And that really is, I think, overboard. That's too much. It's just cereal, people. But the magician kind of can just flow, just kind of knows what cereal. Like almost close your eyes and just go toward the one that's meant for you, right? And there's no rationality behind it. There's no, it's the cheapest one, right? Or, it's the healthiest one. It's just, no, this is the one that's meant for me right now, you know? But that doesn't take away the benefit of overthinking, because you've done all of this analysis and maybe you've run through every single scenario about what your life is, what your work is, what this mountain is that you're climbing. I'm talking about cereal and buffets and stuff because it's morning here and I'm hungry, but it's also an analogy that you can apply to whatever it is that you are working on in your life or working toward, right? You've done the math. So you know how to do it, right? You know the reasons for each thing. And I think what the Seven of Swords here is saying is that you could make a case for just about anything. You take any single box of cereal and you can make an argument in favor of it, right? And that's a good skill to have. It doesn't help you to make decisions because if everything kind of has if everything has a pretty good reason in favor of it, how do you choose one over the other? Well, it's got to be just from spirit. It's got to be that spontaneity thing. It's got to just be what you feel drawn to, what's meant for you in that moment. If everything is equal, right, then we either choose almost instantaneously or we don't choose at all and we remain stagnant and stuck and we don't go anywhere, right? So that's kind of the base of the mountain, and there's there are many different paths that will lead to the summit of the mountain. It's not so important which one we choose, but that we choose, right? And I think that the moon here, maybe the moon card in the background here is talking about that realization that you did come to. Maybe you've already done this kind of work with the vacillations of your being, or you've done the observation. You know these things about yourself, right? It doesn't make the future any more certain. See, this card really is very much about uncertainty. It's about fear of uncertainty, fear of the unknown, the fear that we're stepping into something and we don't know anything about it, right? This is kind of this is the fear that we have to overcome, and I think you've gone through this doorway already. Because I think you have come to the realization that you're at the base of the mountain. Every path leads to the summit. So essentially, it doesn't really matter what path you choose. You have to choose the path that maybe is going to be, well, again, with the cereal. Is it the one that's easiest? Is it the one that is the most, that tastes the best? The one that's kind of the healthiest one, or just the one that's closest to you right now, right? All of these factors that go into that. And we get wrapped up in the mental activity of this, but it needs to be something much more subtle, much more, I think, just kind of spontaneous, much more inspired. The death card here, this is an important one, because I feel that this is you're in a very significant period of time in your life. I think you're going through a spiritual transformation. I think you are discovering kind of who you are and what you're meant to do. And between these two cards, I wonder if it's taken a long time in your life. I wonder if you've gone through so many different identities. And even with that Magician card up there, we feel that. You've gone through so many different versions of yourself, right? That I think now you're finally arriving at one that feels the most authentic. But let's remember that each one is just a persona. Each one is just as real as the others, right? It doesn't matter which persona, which mask you wear, as long as it's leading you to the summit, as long as it's leading you to that Ace of Cups. It doesn't matter which mask you wear, right? And I think you're slowly realizing that, and you're slowly realizing that there is something essential to you underneath the masks. That yes, you've worn many hats in your life. You probably had many different jobs, many different passions, interests, loves. And you always seem to change your mind somewhere down the road. Well, that's okay. As long as everyone is leading you to that goal, to your ultimate kind of spiritual identity. And you might eventually see the further we get up the mountain. See, here's 10, but here's the ace. The further up we get, 9, 8, 7, 6, it's narrowing, right? The field is narrowing. The choices are narrowing. And I think you're beginning to realize that there is an essential self in there that is not affected by the different masks you wear. And it's almost like the more masks you try on and take off and try on another one, the more you come to know what that underlying essential nature is, right? That spiritual self. Let's move to the path of the serpent now. And as we do this, I'd like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Totally free. Doesn't cost you anything. And leave some comments for me. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. Okay. The Hanged Man here. The Hanged Man is kind of, to me, it really goes along with this Mercury energy. The fact that we're immersing ourselves in so many different ways of being, so many different experiences of life, right? I think this is, and maybe when you were a kid, maybe in college, maybe in your work, your career life, maybe in terms of relationships. I feel like you have surrendered to so many different things, immersed yourself in so many different things to the point where you almost feel like that was your identity, And I think then time goes by and, you change, your mind changes, your perception changes. And then we realize, no, that really wasn't me. That wasn't my identity. I was playing a role, right? And then we do that again with something else. And it's the same way that someone might decide one day that they're going to be a painter, and they go and buy all the paints, the easels, the canvases. They get the clothes that the painter is supposed to wear, whatever, They do the whole shebang, and they are playing a role of a painter. And then maybe they realize down the road that they don't like it, they don't enjoy it. It's not leading them to their essential self. It's not leading them to that spiritual union, that Ace of Cups, that destiny, that sense of like, this is my purpose, So then they might take off those clothes and get rid of the painting supplies and try their hand at something else. Maybe business. Maybe I'll go and I'll be a business person, so they buy the tie and the shiny shoes and all that stuff. Really, it's the underlying spiritual identity crisis that we all suffer from, every single one of us, okay, to a greater or lesser degree. But I think that the Hanged Man is us diving into one thing after the other, in search of ourselves, really. Now, I do think that there's a significant person in your life. Maybe it's some sort of a mentor or teacher or advisor. I feel like there's somebody that kind of guides you a little bit. I don't know if it's a spouse or a romantic partner, or if it's maybe an older sibling. Maybe there is a spiritual teacher or pastor or something that is kind of guiding you a little bit. And it could be like a professor or something or a counselor, something along those lines. But I feel as if as long as you keep moving, you're going to continue to climb this mountain. And it may not even really feel like you're making much progress. But I think you really, really are. And I think what we're worried about is kind of getting to the summit and realizing that there is no self there. Right. What we see with the fire energy right here, especially with the tower here, is this kind of Kundalini experience. And this is like, this is kind of that experience when all the masks fall away. When no mask will even really stick to you any longer. When everything just gets burned up in the passion and the heat of the soul, in our kind of internal furnace. Nothing sticks there. And this is the idea of trying to find yourself, but everything that you consider burns away, crumbles to dust in your hand, right? So that all that is left is pure consciousness. And that's the I that is kind of at the top of this card. It's that revelation that none of the things that we do in life are the self, are our essence. You are not what you do. Right? We all can immerse ourselves in different roles, different personas. We can wear different hats. We can wear different costumes. But none of those are ourselves. It's kind of just it's a garment that we wear. Right? Underneath everything, that there is this realization. And this is, I think, the Kundalini experience, or this kind of spiritual activation for a lot of people, is a frightening thing. It's not just all kind of enlightenment and joy and bliss. It's really a frightening thing, because it's almost as if you don't know who you are, that you aren't a you anymore. So it's in my limited experience, it seems like it can be a very frightening experience. It's a loss of the sense of individuality, loss of sense of knowing ourselves. Right? But I think that's the final stage, really, before you get to that everlasting bliss and joy, right? Because this is the love that is underneath this frightening experience, the love, the consciousness that says we are all one consciousness. We are all one love, right? So I think that this seems like a very kind of mystical, magical reading for you, Cancer, but I think that this really is talking about you discovering that way of living, that path in life, that it's not really about what you do, but the feeling behind it, about what you're searching for, about that quest, that spiritual quest that you're on. Even as you are trying on different hats, you're trying to see where it is that your earthly life kind of fits together, what you're meant to do on this plane. But there's also the corresponding spiritual journey that you're on. Yeah. I want to take a look at the mystery card now. Maybe some earth energy just to see if we are kind of taking some necessary steps forward. This might even be another cups, 9 or a 10 of cups again, I think would be appropriate here. Maybe the Empress even? If you have a prediction, put it down in the comments. All right, let's see what we have. It's a 5 of Pentacles. And the 5 of Pentacles, at least, is us moving. It's us kind of finding, passing by things and almost saying, that's not the self. That's not God, Goddess, Deity. That's not the Spirit. That's not my goal. And we keep walking, right? Now we can stop inside here. We can have a meal. We can spend some time, but then it's time to leave again. It's time to continue our journey. So this is really a good card because this says we're not getting stuck in any one particular mask or role, right? We could get lost. We could get immersed in this thing, and we could really assume that we are this role that we're playing in our earthly life. And we'll forget, right? We'll forget that we're on this spiritual quest. So this is a card that reminds us that, yes, we can stop and put on these warm clothes and have this meal and play this part and wear this mask, but it's going to be time to go again. We have to continue our spiritual journey. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, click on the link either above or below in the video description. New readings for Cancer every Tuesday and Saturday, but I'm here every day, so just come back and see me again tomorrow. Okay. Leave a comment for me. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Totally free. Doesn't cost you anything. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.